Hello, everybody. Welcome to Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm Joshua.
I'm Nibras.
I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to Youth Connect. Hello, everybody. Anybody that's new to the show or a reoccurring watcher, you gotta know this. For those who don't know, Youth Connect is a news entertainment show that was created during the pandemic for the community, by the community. We are in all abilities youth broadcasting crew who want to have their own podcast, play music, want to go into acting and broadcasting work. It's a show that I know that you are going to love. You already met my other co-hosts. We got Kevin, we got Joshua, we got Nibras, and we got Jeffrey. But we first start off with myself and my gaming news. So what's first on the Spotlight Games? We got to do our Spotlight Game of the Week. That is the first part of our gaming news. And what is Spotlight Game of the Week? Well, basically, it's a game that I think that should have the light shine on or shown on it. And today's game that has recently been released is called Diablo Immortal. Now, this game is a weird one, which appeared out of nowhere by Blizzard Corp. Apparently, it is a all-new, all-expansive, massive, online multiplayer RPG that was originally released for the phone. How strange is that? But it was a game built for the mobile and is now also coming to open beta on PC. But basically, battle against ancient evils and discover the story untold between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. The Archangel Tyrael is presumed dead, and humankind is left to deal with the aftermath of their actions. Fragments of the shattered world stone, still imbued with great power, are tainting the land. Diablo's minions are hoping to harness that power to allow the Lord of Terror to return. This game is a bit of a different one. It is an RPG battling game where you can level up and all that, but the interesting factor is that this one was released on the iOS and Android devices in the middle of nowhere, just suddenly released out of nowhere. And if you know Diablo, it's been there for a long time, and I love Diablo. Diablo's a great game, a great RPG game. My family used to play it as a group, and I'm waiting for Diablo 4, which is coming out later in the year, I'm pretty sure. But just so you know, guys, even though it's an iOS game, apparently this game is massive. And you got your greatest characters like the Barbarian, the Crusader, and even the Demon Hunter and more. And there's also some returning bosses from Diablo 2 and 3, which is like the Skeleton King, Baal, Countess, and many other bosses and enemies from the Diablo series. It's a game that actually looks really good, guys. Despite it being on iOS, you know what? If it's a Diablo game, it's probably going to be pretty good. Anyways, that's it for my first gaming news, and next up we have Kevin for some all-important news.
Hello, everyone. You're tuned into Youth Connect with me, Kevin Aruja. As always, I have news and some interesting fact. And now, let's go to the headlines. Doug Ford's PC get another majority government NDP to serve as official opposition. Ontario celebrates National Indigenous History Month. Ontario gas prices expected to jump to unprecedented high this weekend. And Canada's Leila Fernandez eliminated in French Open quarterfinals. Doug Ford's Progressive Conservative were handed in the second mandate in Ontario on Thursday night. Members of provincial parliament won't officially return to the legislature until September 8th, but when they do, they will likely hit the ground running, aiming to get as much as they're done in the first year in office before having to think about re-election yet again. Here's what they promised. They promised about affordability, highway and transit, housing, healthcare, climate, childcare and education, jobs, and long-term care. June is National Indigenous History Month, a time for all Ontarians to recognize and honor the rich and diverse histories and current realities of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people across the province of Canada. It is an important opportunity to learn more about the distinct cultures, language, and experience Indigenous people, as well as how their contributes and achievements have and continue to shape our province and country. Indigenous people continue to inspire us with their strength, resiliency, and steadfast commitment to Indigenous values. Often in the face of incredible obstacles, these obstacles include, amongst other challenges, the tragic impact of the Indian residential school system on survivors and their families and communities. Gas prices in Ontario are about to hit another unprecedented high this weekend. Across most of the province, prices are expected to hit $2.10 to $2.11 per liter on Saturday. Gas prices have been rising significantly for months due to supply shortage, heavily fueled by sanctions against Russia on its invasion of Ukraine. Summertime demand is making the situation worse in Ontario as possible venture outdoors in the warm weather. Depending on the outcome of the provincial election on Thursday, various parties have made promises to target the rising tax prices. The Progressive Conservative promised during the campaign that they would temporarily reduce the gas tax in Ontario by 5.7% per liter for 6 months starting July 1st. And on the sports news, Canadian Lili Fernandez was defeated by Martina Trevisan of Italy in the quarterfinals of the French Open. Trevisan won the match with a score of 6 out of 2, 6 out of 7, and 6 out of 3. The 19-year-old Fernandez, who reached the U.S. Open final last September, received treatment on her right foot during this first set. When she hit 15 unforced errors, she had foot tape during the medical timeout after the fifth game, but trailing with a score of 3 out of 2. And on the weather news, no truly hot weather in sight for the first half of June in Ontario. This weekend and next week will be double digits of 19 or 20 degrees. Monday brings showers, and the remaining weekdays a mix of sun and clouds with another chance of shower on Friday. As we get closer to Canada Day, I will be giving you information about everything about Canadian. And now for interesting fact of the week, and of course I'm going to speak about the maple trees. The reason why I have maple syrup in my background, of course, which is comes from the one and only maple trees. Although the maple leaf is closely associated with Canada, the maple tree was not officially recognized as Canada's arboreal emblem until 1996. Maple trees are beautiful, symmetrical, deciduous trees that are found throughout the United States and in Canada and Japan. They have been grown around the world on the continent of Asia, Africa, and Europe. It is the maple trees that give us breakfast necessary. The maple syrup for our pancakes and waffles. The tree's leaf changes into fabulous shades of red, orange, and yellow in autumn. And now for the facts about the maple tree. Sugar, black, and red maples are the first that are important for maple syrup production. In a balanced, healthy, productive sugar bush, an ideal number of maples would be approximately 70% acre. And maple trees can live to 200 years and beyond and have been tapped for 150 years or more. On a sweet maple tree note, we come to the end of my segment. This is Kevin Aruja signing off here for the Canada news and the most interesting fact. And now, same day, same time. Now over to Aiden.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I just want to say the message that you said about National Indigenous History Month is very important. You know what? A lot of people in our community really appreciate you shining the light on it because you know what? It should really be important to remember our history and remember that we have a lot of strength in our First Nations. So thank you so much, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Anyways, on to your second gaming news. Guess what? If you guys like the small little NES Classic, the Genesis Classic, the SNES Classic, well, guess what? We got another classic game. And you know what? Sega has announced that they will be releasing the Mega Drive Mini 2, which comes with more than 50 pre-installed Mega Drive and Mega CD games. So, if you guys don't know, well, the Mega Drive used to have a add-on which was the Mega CD drive, which allowed you to play Sega CD games. And now, if you guys have never played it or never even heard of the Sega CD, I recommend that you check it out. Now, obviously, this hasn't been released yet, but the games include Sonic CD, Virtua Racing, Slipheed, and even more, which will be included in the US one. Japanese currently is 9,980 yen, which is technically around $76 rounded up. Now, for the price of it, we will also be getting, guess what? Fantasy Zone. Now, if you don't know, Fantasy Zone was an unreleased Sega Genesis game that will be releasing on this Sega Genesis Mini 2. And we haven't got it, but apparently they said that it is going to be a mysterious new work of a game for the Sega Genesis Mini 2. If you guys remember the SNES Classic, it had Star Fox 2, which never released. So I really appreciate these systems really giving us something that makes us intrigued to get them. Now, obviously, we don't have much of a release date. In Japan, it's going to be releasing on October the 27th, but there has been no American release date and really no real announcement in the US or in Canada. So, for all needs, it will be in the Japanese area, but if I have any news on it, guys, I will make sure you will be the first people to know about it. So, don't wait. Make sure, if you guys want to as well, make sure to look it up yourself. If you find anything interesting, make sure to share it with us because we would appreciate to see that everyone in our community is finding interesting news, interesting stuff that we might have not seen ourselves. Anyways, next up is Joshua, and Joshua has with us some good story news and, of course, your favorite animal news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Connect Now for a good news story. Millions of tons of earth dumped for new London subway line became a new bird sanctuary. Multi-billion-dollar civic engineering projects do not normally mean good news for wildlife, but upon the completion of a new English underground railway line, the upturned earth was used to rebuild a coastal habitat for birds in Sussex, Essex, United Kingdom. The new bird sanctuary instantly became one of the most richest in Britain's coastline for avocates, spoonbills, black-tailed godwits, and other wading birds. During the $24 million high-speed railway project, 7 million metric tons of soil was dug up to make 13 underground railway tunnels. 7 million, half of which were transported by boat to the eastern shore of the country. The earth was taken to a place called Wallacea Island, once just a tiny peninsula of the wild Essex United coastal line. It took 1,500 trips by canal to bring the dirt to Wallacea, where they created Jubilee Marsh, the cornerstone of the new nature reserve. Bird-friendly journalists from The Guardian reporting on the state of Wallacea Island now note the diversity of species and the rich numbers. Hen marsh hares have appeared in winter, while Norwegian teal, plover, yellow wagtail, lapwings, blackbirds, oyster catchers, and skylarks were all recorded in what reporters called a nature lovers paradise. In its first year, Wallacea Nature Reserve hosted 150 breeding pairs of avocets, which is endangered in Britain, instantly making one of the bird's strongholds. Mark Wild, the railway project's chief executive, is really proud that Jubilee Marsh is helping to combat the threats of the climate change and coastal floodings. Wow, that is an incredible boost to the bird population. Now for another good news story. One look at this hobbit hole like winery in the country of Georgia and you'll fall in love with green architecture. Built 3 years ago in the Kakheti region, Shalida Winery consistently of the 3 artificial caves that gently raise up from the ground, bringing the rows of grapes with them. The 2.5-yard spacing of the vineyard rows have translated into a strip grid that makes up the building, expressed by a series of arching beams that literally raises the vineyard up from the ground. Over the top run the rows of grapes, and behind in the distance are the Caucasus Mountains, ensuring that the buildings perfectly blend into the background. Inside the three houses are a storage area, a tasting room, a wine center, and a restaurant. For example, the building's openings face north to avoid the majority of the day's sun exposure, while the mass from the soils helps to cool the building at a basic level. This also naturally keeps the wine stored inside at optimal temperatures. Founded in 2015 among the castles and churches of Kakheti, Shalida Winery is situated in the principal region of viniculture in Georgia and offers more than 20 varieties of wine. Cheers to that. Now turning to animal interest news. Whistling ducks make a rare Canadian appearance in Brunswick. Just because it doesn't walk like a duck or quack like a duck, it doesn't mean it isn't a duck. It might be a black-bellied whistling duck like the ones attracting attention at a man-made pond, whose owner, Hanson McCrae, said he wasn't sure what he was looking at when he first saw the birds. He said they didn't sound like ducks and don't waddle but walk more like humans. The species is originally from South America and is rarely seen in Canada, said birder Alien Clavetti. While it's certainly a long way from its typical northern range in the southern United States, Clavetti said it's not unusual for wayward flocks to venture north. Although it's rare for them to make it this far, Lucas Bergen of Birds Canada doesn't think these ducks are interested in staying in New Brunswick permanently. It's most likely that they'll keep moving and don't stick around for stops so long. Most of the time, they'll be around for a few days or a week, and they'll keep going. Bergen says that's quite typically of the species, and they're easily approachable. Clavetti also believes it's a wild population that has just decided to explore outside its normal habitat. This is Joshua Shaw reporting for UConnect. That's it for me. Now I'll send it back to you, Aiden.
Thank you so much, Joshua. If I heard a whistling bird, I would be very confused because you know what? Birds don't usually whistle, and hearing a bird whistle would really confuse me. Thank you so much, and I can't believe it. A unseen, unusual type of duck that usually doesn't migrate to this parts of Canada arrived in this area. I'm surprised that they'd arrived. Maybe it won't be just in New Brunswick, but it will be in Ontario as well. Come on, ducks. I want to hear the whistle. I want to hear the whistling. Anyways, on to my third and final gaming news. We got to do our board game of the week, similar to our video game of the week, but now it's a board game. And today's board game of the week is called Twilight Inscription. Now, here's a story. The Lazax Empire has been burned to ash, rejected by its subjects. The aftermath was tragedy and petty conflict in equal measure, a time at loss and exhaustion. In the ensuing dark years, the factions of the galaxy retreated and recovered their strengths. Now they look upon the stars and see an opportunity to reclaim what was lost, a chance to redefine galactic civilization, a chance to leave their mark upon the stars. Now, Twilight Inscription is an epic roll and write game for 1 to 8 players, and it offers an experience unlike any board game has done before. With a limited pool of resources at your disposal, you'll need to carefully manage navigation, expansion, industry, and warfare as you amass victory points and earn your way to the throne of Medical Rex. Will your faction become the new rulers of the galaxy, or will your fledgling empire fade into obscurity? Anything can happen in the strategic infinity replayable game Twilight Inscription. Now this game sounds like I'm playing a game of D&D, more like I'm playing space D&D. You know what, guys? Again, board games are so cool nowadays, how they can incorporate such story into their games. So if you guys are interested in Twilight Inscription, check it out. And if you did like it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But anyways, next up is Nibras, and Nibras has with us some entertainment and podcast news.
Hello everybody. How are you guys today? My name is Nibras Khan and I'm your student entertainment news. Let's get straight into our top three. So our top three is about. So the other day I was on YouTube and something showed up on my recommendations and it blew my mind. Yes, the video was titled Cartoon Network Openings 1993 to 2019 and I watched the whole video. When I watched the whole video, it gave me a lot of nostalgia and gave me many memories of my childhood that I used to rush to get home from school to switch on the TV so I could watch all my favorite shows. As you all know that I spent 10 years of my childhood living in Dubai and grew up watching networks like Cartoon Network, E Junior, and Nickelodeon. But my favorite was Cartoon Network because of the channel's all original shows and it had great shows. So today I will tribute and give shout out to some Cartoon Network shows that made up my childhood. So I'll go by numbers. Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Samurai Jack, Codename Kids Next Door, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Megas XLR, Camp Leslo, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, The Secret Saturdays, and number 11, Janitor Rex, Transformers, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and last but not least, my all-time favorite, the best, Ben 10. So, I just wanted to say a big thank you to the creators and animators who invented these great shows and brought them to life. The life would have been very, very boring if these shows weren't around. If you have watched Cartoon Network while you were growing up, so comment down below. And any other channel you have watched while you were growing up, comment down below. And I suggest you watching the video that I watched. It blew my mind. Honestly, guys, when you're a kid, you watch a lot of stuff and you forget by the years going down, right? I'm 22 and it's been a long time when I watched cartoons when I was a kid and it blew my mind. So many intros, so many characters. It is just amazing, and it's just salute to the creators who invented these cartoons, right, for children. It's just amazing. And now to my thanks story. Now, before I go to my thanks story, I'd like to get the factor of the day, and today's factor of the day is drumroll, please. Did you guys know that there was a theory going around about Finding Nemo? As you all know that Finding Nemo is a franchise and has two movies, Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. So the theory is that Nemo does not exist. Oh, yes, that's true. As you know that in the film that the barracuda kills Marlin's wife and all of his children but one. The theory says that when Marlin wakes up, he imagines there's only one egg that survived. He names his only son Nemo. Nemo in Latin means no one or nobody. I'll repeat, Nemo in Latin means no one or nobody. If Nemo does not exist, the entire movie shows Marlin going through the 5 stages of grief. Denial, when he denies his Nemo not to go to school because it's dangerous. Anger, when he gets angry when Nemo wants to explore the world. Bargaining, he bargains with Dory, a forgetful fish who forgets. Otherwise, no Nemo. Despair, when he finds out he's never gonna meet Nemo when he gets lost. and acceptance. At the end of the film, when you see he says, "Oh, you can go to the reef, just go." He accepts and let go. Acceptance. So I'll repeat: anger, bargaining, denial, despair, and acceptance. Isn't that awesome? I mean, it's just a theory. I'm just saying, it's all a theory, but can it be possible? Can it be possible? It just blew my mind. I love this fact. If you like this fact, comment down below. And now to my second story. So my second story is the podcast. So the podcast name is Writer's Mind with Tyler Morey. So, ready to learn about philosophy, the craft of writing, and how to become a better thinker? This podcast offers something for everyone, even if you don't consider yourself a writer. Its last episode wrapped up in October 2021, but pouring over past episodes is well worth it. So I love this podcast. It's just he talks about how to get rid of that writer's block, how to start a book, everything about writing, even a better, like I said, how to become a better thinker, how to get focused. Everything all in that is one podcast, and I'll repeat the podcast name. It's Writer's Mind. It's with Tyler Morey, and it's just a great podcast. So I recommend you guys listen to this podcast. It will change your life. And yeah, and that's all from me. As always, this is Nibras Khan from Youth Connect. I'll see you all next week. Thank you. Take care. Back to Aiden. Bye, guys. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much, Nibras. You know what? I actually believe in that what if theory. Well, if you know Nibras, Disney's Marvel's What If is literally based on the fact of that theory that you were talking about. It's like they call it, you know what they call them? They call them ARGs or ARMs. Alternate reality movies or alternate reality games. Basically, theories about what would happen if this was the true story. And you know what? Alternate reality stuff has been a huge factor of humans. So I actually believe that if shows had this alternate reality aspect to the show, I feel like it'd be more intriguing to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Anyways, we got to move on to the last bit of Youth Connect, and in my honest opinion is my favorite and the cherry on top of it. We have to do our live musician with his live music, Jeffrey.
Hi everybody. Hope you're ready to hear some music from myself, Jeffrey, your live musician. And I'm going to be playing an original song which was created by me and Aiden. It's called Jelly Roll. So here we go. Jelly roll. One step forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side. Don't hide, no slide. Shake your hands to and fro. Never let your smile go. You can do it, yes you can. Empty up. Give me a chance to change your mind. See up times just be. You know you wanna wiggle. One step forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side. Don't hide, no slide. Shake your hands to and fro. Never let the smile go. You can do it, yes you can. You know you wanna wiggle, jelly roll. One step forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side. Don't hide or slide. Shake your hands to and fro. Never let the smile go. You can do it, yes you can. Empty your pockets, give no change. Tell me that they rearrange, don't hide, no slide. Give me a chance, change your mind, see your potential just be. You know you wanna win, jelly roll. One step forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side, don't hide, no slide, no slide. Give me a chance, change your mind, see your plans just be. Everyone, you're gonna wanna win, jelly roll. One step forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side, don't hide or slide. Win, jelly roll. Forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side, don't hide or slide. You know you wanna wiggle, jelly roll. One step forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side, don't hide, no slide. Shake your hands to and fro. Never let your smile go. You can do it, yes you can. One more time, wiggle, jelly roll. One step forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side, don't hide, no slide. No slide. Thank you, everybody. As always, this is Jeffrey, your live musician. See you all next week, and it's back to you, Aiden.
Wiggle, jiggle, jelly roll. One step forward, two steps back. Roll your hips side to side. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I was just paying attention. Of course. Where was I? I had a lot of requests to put on Jelly Roll, and guess what? I was actually one of those people as well. I love Jelly Roll, guys. You know what? It's such a catchy song. Jeffrey put such an amazing beat on it, and it just makes me want to dance. And guess what? There is a dance in the lyrics. So you know what? You might be able to see later or in the future, you might see a music video of Jelly Roll. And I hope that you guys are excited for that. But if you liked Youth Connect and you loved Jeffrey's Jelly Roll, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
Anyways, guys, I hope that you have an amazing weekend, and we will see you all next time. Thank you guys so much for joining Youth Connect.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.